Hello and welcome back to the channel and back to another video on how to back to school maths lessons to get ahead, and this is the year 5 and 6 video on division. So in year 5 and 6 the children are obviously preparing for their year 6 SATs, and it's important that they're proficient in both short division and long division. Firstly, I'm going to take you through short division at the beginning of this video, and then I'll talk a little bit about how to solve long division questions. This will serve them well when they go in to do their arithmetic test at the end of year 6. So short division I touched on in a previous video in year 3 and 4 division video. Essentially, some people call it the bus stop method, but they're going to lay their questions out like this, with the longer number underneath the bus stop and the shorter number on the outside. Short division can include remainders, so just watch out for those. So we start off by looking at this 3 here. So how many 3's go into 9? 3. How many 3's go into 3? 1. How many 3's in 6? 2. How many 3's in 9? 3. B. How many 2's in 8? There are 4. How many 2's in 0? There are none. How many 2's in 4? There are 2. And how many 2's are there in 2? 1. How many 4's in 8? There are 2. How many 4's in 5? Now this one we have a remainder, so there's 1 4 and 5, but there's a remainder of 1, so the 1 we put next to the next number. 4's into 16, 4, 8, 12, 16, so there are 4. How many 4's in 4? There are 1. D. How many 5's in 5? 1. How many 5's in 7? You can't do. There are only 1 5 and 7, so we put the 1 here. With a remainder of 2, the 2 goes here. How many 5's in 20? There are 4. How many 5's in 8? There is 1 5 in 8, but there's a remainder of 3, which works out nicely here. How many 5's in 35? There are 7. E. How many 3's in 7? There are 2 3's in 7, so you put the 2 there with a remainder of 1. How many 3's in 10? There are 3 3's in 10, 3, 6, 9, but with a remainder of 1. How many 3's in 18? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. There are 6. How many 3's in 2? You can't do, so you put a 0. And then in this instance, you join these two numbers together. Sometimes I tell the children just to draw a small line like this because it's easier. How many 3's in 27? There are 9. So finally, F. How many 6's in 2? How many 6's in 2? There are 0. So then we look at the next number. How many 6's in 24? There are 4. How many 6's in 6? There is 1. How many 6's in 4? You can't do, so we look at joining these two together again. How many 6's in 42? There are 7. So there you can see the expectation for short division for the children. Going through questions like this, there are remainders when you can go into a number once, but there are a remainder to carry that number over and do it in this way. So your turn. Have a go at these two questions. Use the short division method that I've just shown you. So the first step will be to draw out your bus stop as such, and then to put the long number underneath. 6, 3, 7 in this case, and 5 on the outside is what you would want to do first, and 1036 and then 8 on the outside, and then solve them in the same way I did on the previous slide. Okay, so these were the answers that I got. Okay, we've got 127 with a remainder of 2 for the first one. And for the second one, I got 129 with a remainder of 4. How did you do? Okay, so moving on to long division. And this is the dreaded type of division that all the children in year 6 struggle with. Most of the arithmetic questions that are long division are worth 2 marks. Because they're so tricky, and children will have to show their working usually with these. The children can get a mark if they show their working is correct, and however they've come to the wrong answer. So they can get 1 mark. So I would encourage all children to show their working when solving these. This is actually taken from a SATs paper, the 2023 SATs paper, because I thought it would be worthwhile going through a question they're likely to do. So the first step with long division, and the step that makes it really straightforward afterwards, is to write down jottings. Now, what are jottings? Well, we want to know how many 47s go into 611, which means that we need to write down the 47 times table. So what the children would do is they would write jottings over here, or just J for short, if they're short on time, and they would write down the 47 times table. Now, I know that people don't know their 47 times table, so that's why we call it jottings, because they have to work them out. 1 times 47 is fairly straightforward. 2 times is fairly straightforward because we're just doubling 47. It gets a bit tricky when we get to 3 and 4 times. So what they might have to do is actually do some smaller times tables jottings down here. 7 threes are 21, 1 down, carry the 2. 4 threes are 12, and 2 is 13, 14, 1, 4, 1. So you can see how they would work out these numbers by doing smaller multiplication sums. But once they've got to about 7 times, I tend to say to them, go 7 times, because usually that's enough for you to be able to work out the answer. So now we know, we can now check. So how many times is 47 going to 6? It doesn't, so we put a 0 there. Then we draw a little line here like we would with short division. How many times is 47 going to 61? So now we check our jottings. It goes in 1 times. Does it go in 2 times? No, it doesn't, because that's too big. So then what you do with long division, you put the 47 underneath, like this. We draw a line, and we subtract. One take away 7 we can't do, so we're going to borrow from the 6. That becomes 5. That becomes 1. That comes 11. 11 take away 7 is 4. And 5 take away 4 is 1. So now we've got 14 left. I know it's actually 140 left. So the next step is to bring this 1 down. So you bring the 1 down. And we now want to see how many 47s go into 141. Well, that's fairly straightforward because look, it's here. I've actually just forgotten a step here. So here we've got 47 into 61. It went in 1 time, so I need to put the 1 up here. Okay, so that bit's done. Now I can go back to this bit. So how many times does 47 go into 141? It goes in 3 times, so I'm going to put 141 down here. And I can subtract 0, 0, 0. There's nothing left. And it went in how many times? 3 times. Leaving us with a final answer of 13. I will say that most of long division questions on the SATs papers end with no remainder. So you can see here that there's no remainder. Looking at this next one then, I'm just put here, your turn. So to have a go at this one, the first thing remember to do is to do your jottings on the side, starting with the 26 times table. So 1 times 26, what's 2 times 26? You might be able to just double it. So that's 40. 2 times 6 is 12, so that's 52. And then you're going to have to go down and work out the rest. So have a go now doing the jottings and go up to, like I said, about 7 times. And then you want to see how many times does 26 go into 4? It doesn't. So how many times does it go into 44? And check your jottings and try have a go at working it out. So pause the video here and have a go at that question. So the answer then was you should have got 172 as your answer. So it should have gone in 172 times. There's no working out here, but you would have working out. So I hope that you also got that correct answer. Hope you enjoyed this video on division for year 5 and 6. So the 2 methods I went through were short division and long division. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe for more videos on primary education. If you want to see full walkthroughs of the year 6 arithmetic paper, you can find those on the channel, and hit the like button if you enjoyed watching today. Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one.